Hello and welcome to the Saga of the Clone Saga. My name is Vincent.
I'm Mike, and we're officially in the Glow Spider era, so this week's sponsor is going to be lights.
Yes, go to your local store, pick up some lights to illuminate your life. So today we're talking about Before Dead No More, because the clone conspiracy arc is way too long, so it's going to be 3 episodes. And this first one, it's 4 issues of entirely Prelude.
Yep.
And this is peak decompression, overbloated bullshit.
Yeah.
So this is Amazing Spider-Man Volume 4, 16 through 19. So we're 15 issues into this era of Volume 4, which sometimes, and like on Marvel's collections, they refer to it as the worldwide era. AKA, Peter Parker is running Parker Industries, which is this multinational tech conglomerate of some sort.
He's just Tony Stark at this point.
Basically. And what it really is it's Slott essentially directly dealing with the post-superior status quo, where like Peter's picking up some of the puzzle pieces that Otto, while he was in his body, like had built up. But there was an entire volume between this, and of course we read some of that with Spider-Verse. And so it's just kind of weird. It's like, oh, I'm going to deal with some of that stuff a year later. Because I guess the concept of Volume 3 is that he comes back to that stuff, but he's Peter Parker and it's way out of his league. So he just flounders. And then a year later, he decides, hey, I'll just repeat what he did or something. And it works for a while. A lot of people, this was a very controversial era. And you know, Slots already had Superior and stuff like that. And a major part of the controversial era for some people is the slight redesign in the costume, which involves certain weird minor changes, including the spider on Spider-Man's chest glowing blue.
It's also a different design. It's like a more jagged edged legged design, and the suit is like basically an Iron Man armor.
I recognize it is pretty minor, but I really, really hate it, and I think it looks really stupid.
I'm fine with the glowing eyes. The glowing spider's stupid.
Yeah. And the artist for, I believe, all the issues in here, and a lot of this era is Giuseppe Camuncoli, who we have seen before a tiny bit.
And we get Alex Ross drawing the covers, though.
Yeah, which I don't know. I'm like, as I get older and older, I kind of get jaded on Alex Ross. Like, it's just not that exciting to me. And it's worth noting, like,
is it not that exciting because he does covers like all the time now, and it used to be a big thing when you saw an Alex Ross piece?
yeah. Well, part of it is, I mean, if you ask someone why they care about Alex Ross, what he's known for, it's when he does actual art.
Yeah.
He's known for Marvels and Kingdom Come and Earth X or whatever. And yeah, his covers are cool, and on certain series they're integral, like Astro City. But now it's like Marvel just puts him on some title, usually a big title at least, for like a year and a half. And he paints every single damn cover. And it's like they're all good, but sometimes due to the way Marvel works, it's in one of these weird status quos. So we have like 20 Spider-Man covers of Alex Ross with this glowing spider, and it's really dumb.
I think, at least for me, I always view Alex Ross as more of like a DC artist. Like just reading about how like he has very strict standards for when he draws DC characters, like they have to be in their classic costumes and stuff. Like I know there's a point in his career where like, he refused to draw Kyle Rayner. He only wanted to draw Hal Jordan and I think and John Stewart. But But like, so like knowing that, like when I'm looking at a DC Alex Ross piece, like aside from like Kingdom Come, I'm he's getting like that classic style. And with Marvel, he doesn't seem to have that attachment. So, and it's just kind of weird seeing him like the giant glow spider when you think, oh, Alex Ross is going to do like the classic costumes, but nope, he's not.
Yeah, and I always say this, and again, there may be no merit to it whatsoever, but it has always seemed to me like Alex Ross's Marvel stuff has like it's like a little more shiny for some
Yeah,
reason,
it does. It has that. I don't know what it is.
and I think it might just be some of the characters, like when he draws Hulk or Thor, like they basically look like they're oiled up on their muscles.
Yeah.
And I guess like you could argue a lot of the DC characters, they're more like they have more skin covered up. I mean,
Mhm.
if you think of like Superman and Batman, you're not seeing their biceps out. Um, and but even on Spider-Man, and you can like maybe it works in this era because his suit is kind of supposed to be a little bit closer to like an Iron Man inspired suit at this point. It's
Yeah.
not clear what the texture and everything is, but like Spider-Man's suit has a shimmer to it, and to me, it just comes off super weird because to me,
Which is
Spider-Man's suit should be
fabric folds that he puts in his
yeah.
art. Really weird.
So actual book, something happened in issues we didn't read. There was some kind of party or something, and Jay Jameson collapsed. He has some disease which we don't get any like actual explanation for,
Uh,
and out of nowhere, New U technology shows up. They have some kind of experimental medical developments, and they're offering, hey, maybe Jay Jameson can be a test case, a patient. But Peter Parker is distracted because a Parker Industries facility in Oklahoma blows the hell up out of nowhere.
yeah. So he goes there.
Yes, and we're also seeing Anna Maria, who is from the Superior era and dated Otto Octavius while he was in Peter's body, and it's all confusing. And the living brain, which is this dumb robot thing, has Otto's consciousness in it.
Yeah.
Creeps around like a stalker.
Yeah. It's weird and stupid.
Then we're introduced to kind of the villain plot line. The Jackal, introduced as the Jackal, he's not in his traditional furry costume. He's wearing a dumb Anubis mask.
Yeah, I don't like this.
Um, and he's working with the lizard, which
Why is the lizard with him?
yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping we'll get some kind of explanation or something. I'm pretty sure we do because we've also been reading some of Nick Spencer's Spider-Man, and you can see some of our thoughts on that in other shows on this channel. But I think the like lizard family developments from that run actually spin out of this clone conspiracy stuff. So we'll probably get to that. And Electro is there, but he doesn't have his powers. And then some dead girl that he was seeing named Francine shows up. And it turns out that she's like a villain groupie, which I think is a kind of funny concept. It's like instead of trying to hook up with all the 70s rock stars, try and get with all the super villains, at least street level, kind of it's a funny gimmick. But Electro was having issues with his powers and just murdered her with a kiss.
Yeah, accidentally murders her.
But she's back alive through New You, and back in Oklahoma, Spider-Man. Another thing of this era is the big, flashy return of the Spider-Mobile.
I don't like this.
It's kind of like a Transformer almost style where it like flips back and forth between a motorcycle kind of thing and a car and goes up walls and I don't it's just I don't
It's
like
too
there's
much.
no use to it. And so Spidey saves some people and it ends or there's a point where there's one of this bad scene of him lifting heavy machinery or rubble and saying the word responsibility, and it's super forced and doesn't
Yep.
work. But it actually made me think because I'm like, all right, this is terrible. But also, I'm pretty certain that Dan Slott works in the Marvel method, where he's giving plots and then the artists draw and goes in and dialogues. I'm pretty sure he does.
Okay.
And so then I guess that page is on Kamikoli. I mean, Slott's dialogue with the whole responsibility line totally sells it as a shitty scene, but it wasn't necessarily his idea.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's the territory of Spider-Man's going to lift some heavy machinery. I wonder what we're gonna. I wonder what that's a callback to.
Yeah. Spidey fails to save one of the guys. Well, he saves him, but he's like, this guy's really fucked up. And
Yeah.
so he calls up New You, and he's like, well, maybe I'll test it out on one of my employees first before my father-in-law.
Yeah, I don't like this because he's really, really skeptical about using New You going in, and then he just, oh, this guy who works for me, who after I gave this big internal monologue about how everyone's my responsibility, no, I'm just going to use it on him anyway because he's disposable.
Yeah. And
Uh,
we get a we get a Vine reference, and later we get a Pokemon Go reference. But when this employee saved, somehow this New You revived employee sets off his spider sense. And then the big jaw-dropping moment at the end of this first issue is J. Jonah Jameson is talking to the New You people, and suddenly Marla Jameson is back alive.
yeah, and they bring out Marla as an example of how New You works.
Yeah. So basically, to cut to the chase, New You, it's basically cloning, but they properly transfer your consciousness into the clone, but they argue that it's not
Were
cloning.
they digging up graves then?
No, I don't. It doesn't make sense.
No, it
Um,
doesn't make sense.
but the thing is, Marla shows up, and then we don't see her the rest of this entire arc.
Yeah.
Number 17. This cover. Well, the first cover was just literally. I mean, I'll give them credit for it being something that actually happened in the book, but the first cover was the lifting the rubble moment. The second cover, it's at least kind of intriguing. We have some kind of woman dressed as Electro, uh, with her foot on the Prowler, and this is Francine. And the other thing about New You is once you're healed or cloned or whatever, you have to take a pill every day. And I don't know if I assume they're expensive. This is a pretty good racket. And the Jackal, his like thing in this is that he's constantly saying we're the good guys. Um, and so another part of this era, and this has happened a few times before, but in this era, a big deal was that Peter Parker had Hobie Brown, the Prowler, on payroll, and Hobie, whenever he needed to, would put on the Spider-Man costume and serve as a distraction or throw people off the scent so that Spider-Man and Peter Parker could be in the same place at the same time. And that's happened before. In fact, I think the first time Peter did that was when he accidentally told all of his loved ones that he's Spider-Man. And so usually he does this like to fuck with people and be manipulative, just like how his photography career is totally unethical as well. And so he has Hobie poke around New You, but within his Prowler identity. And then,
Well, that's the thing. Like, does there need to be a reason for why he needs to be the Prowler for this part of it, then instead of just being Spider-Man?
I mean, I guess if he gets caught as Spider-Man, then it's Spider-Man breaking and entering into this like lab.
Well, yeah. Well, there's already bad press about Spider-Man as it is. So
Yeah. Um, but this second issue totally threw me off because almost all of it takes place at the exact same time as the previous issue.
yeah, it's weird.
We get like several scenes repeated, and it's from different perspectives, whatever. But like you could have totally cut like 6 pages across these 2 issues and condensed or more and condensed it. And so Jackal promises to restore Electro's powers if he'll work for him. But there's some kind of weird mix-up because the Jackal is a shitty scientist, which is maybe a clue that it's not the Jackal, even though the real Jackal is also a shitty scientist. But there's a mix-up, and Max Dillon and Electro's powers get transferred to Francine, the villain groupie, and she accelerates that process by making out with him, and then he just dies.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is the new Electro, and to my knowledge, this is still the status quo. Max,
Yeah. On Ryan Otley's wraparound cover, for issue 1, it's female Electro.
yeah, Max Dillon remains dead unless he's back without powers. In fact, that may happen here. I'm not sure.
I can't remember.
The Prowler, there's this awkward. So that happens, and there's this awkward thing where Prowler's like, "I gotta stop that," but he's clearly too late to stop it. And then as soon as he like makes the decision to step in, like everything else gets fucked up and everyone turns around, and so the Prowler just gets fucked. He
Well,
should have.
they kill him and then they bring him back.
Yes, and yeah, Hobie's resurrected and is now a basically working for Jackal. He's a thrall. And I mean, this new Electro, Francine, she's already got 2 bodies. Killed Max Dillon and the Prowler.
Yeah.
And um and then we see like the villain group shot, and she's wearing the classic Electro costume pretty much, and it looks pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it works. I mean,
It's one of the classic insane costumes that actually works.
yeah. I don't know why people don't like that costume. I like that costume.
Now, issue 18, it's kind of not part of the plot. It's really like a character study on the living brain, which
I mean,
again,
I just want to say before we get into this, I think Electro's actual mask is better than having a stupid burned Electro
yeah,
logo on your face.
yeah, it looks really stupid. But she like kind of gets it too when she gets the powers.
Oh, does
There's
she?
something going on with her face.
I didn't notice that.
Um, it reminds me of Rachel Gray's the weird stuff that she had going on with her
The
face.
Naruto scratches.
Yeah, when she first showed up. Well, there are multiple characters with weird scratches in their face because there's also the Molecule Man has dumb face marks. So the living brain manipulates Anna Maria's life, and he comes to the conclusion that he wants to use New You to get a clone body of Peter Parker to
Yeah, so
transfer
we
the
can
mind
do the
into.
superior thing all over again.
Yeah, because Anna Maria like likes Otto, but she's probably not gonna like his fucking weird, creepy, fat old body. Unlike Stunner. Um,
That's true.
and so he
But
gets to
then
this
again,
point.
Stunner wasn't really Stunner.
Yeah, he gets to this point where he just kind of lashes out at Peter, and he's supposed to be the subservient robot.
Yeah,
And so Peter and Anna Maria are like, "What the fuck?" And Anna
yeah,
Maria, it's clear that she basically knows what's going on. And so they destroy the living brain, but Otto survives, and he's gonna go through as a little Octobot. He's gonna figure out something.
yeah, yeah.
Now 19, getting back to the actual arc, a Gwen Stacy is just kind of here.
I mean, I guess this is just a thing at this point. If the Jackal shows up, we need a Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, but again, like major spoiler, it's not the Jackal. So it's kind of weird that he has these extra Miles Warren and Gwen Stacy's around.
Well, at least she has clothes on.
And in this issue, there's a scene, there's like a public menace scene where some like civilians get mad at Spider-Man, and it's like really awkward, just comes out of nowhere, and that I thought that was dumb.
It was really out of place for this issue.
And Jameson Sr. dies, and that's kind of it. Like nothing really happened in this issue either.
Yeah, and they're gonna blame Peter for not using the new U because Peter decides to go with the conventional method.
And now, as kind of an epilogue, uh, the Jackal or Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, gets involved, and his wife Vanessa is back.
I
Gotta
like,
bring back everyone's loved ones.
yeah,
And but then, unlike J. Jonah Jameson, which it would be cool to see J. Jonah Jameson do this, but Wilson Fisk is like something's going on here, so he just snaps his return
just
to life
snaps her neck.
and he declares war on the Jackal.
Yep.
Got Kingpin back in the Spider-Man book. Fun. And that's it.
Yeah, this was not and nothing to write home about on this one.
Yeah, it's the thing where like there's just enough setup and plot points, like as far as the new Electro and the Living Brain developments and the Prowler and Jameson. Like there are developments, but like you could have put all that in one issue
Yeah,
and
this could have easily been 3 issues.
or less. I mean, it's just like this is so padded out, and as an entire prelude arc, that's really the peak of annoying comic books. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot to say on this. I didn't enjoy this. It didn't feel like a Spider-Man book to me because the status quo is so far from what we're used to seeing, which I think it might be the first time I've said that on this show where it didn't feel like a Spider-Man book. Maybe I have, though I can't really remember, but I don't like this era. I After reading parts of this, I can understand why I don't like this era and why people don't like this era. And the amount of padding that went into these 4 issues, knowing that we have 2 more episodes on this, I don't care about this story already.
yep.
I'll say that.
So on that note, next episode is the actual clone conspiracy, but only half of it.
Yeah,
So
hopefully we have more fun on that.
yeah, tune into that, and we'll be flipping between 2 series, so that may also be an annoying challenge.
Oh god.
Thanks for watching this one, and we'll see you next time.